sea level rise will threaten 95% of coastal regions.
So whether you care about coral reefs or species or the global
also
economy,
a knowledge which is coming from the latest science, and both needs
to have
kind
a
of embed
domestic
together.
or a state-based strategy. That's where we kind of looked at.
I'm talking about early 90s. कि ओडिशा में एक या दो स्थान में बारिश होने का
has to come together to combat. It has to be collective
Like
action.
at your home, do you have a choice of solving only finance or solving only
It is one of the fastest growing states in India in terms of economy. But if you look at the growth,
आपके जो बजट्स हैं उसी में आप जैसे वनीकरण का
निजे बेड प्रिपरेशन
बोलते नहीं है लोग
विशोधन करिथिली निजे भी बिहन हेला
चैलेंजेस दिखने में आए आप वहाँ पे गुजरात में.
Very good morning and a warm welcome to Ideate 2024. Ideate is a multi-dimensional platform with the approach to delve and dissect common perception to deliberate and channelize purposeful learnings to address societal challenges. Extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and shifting monsoon patterns are having a profound impact on our communities, especially those in rural and coastal areas. This edition of Ideate targets to embed these perspectives into an action plan towards overall adaptability. We aim to identify vulnerabilities related to natural resource management, ensure equitable access to resources for the marginalized population, and encourage the adoption of green technologies and sustainable solutions. We will also delve into the role of philanthropy and environment-friendly industry outlook in driving strategic initiatives and investments that strengthen climate resilience in our mineral-rich state.
You should be seeing now is a study from about 4 years ago on coral reefs. And this study found, quite shockingly, that if climate change and sea level rise happen as expected, we will lose almost 99% of the world's coral reefs. 1 million species are at risk of extinction by the end of the century. And the biggest single driver of that extinction is climate change. So by the year 2100, climate damages for just flooding, so just one climate damage, could exceed $100 trillion per year. So whether you care about coral reefs or species or the global economy, climate resilience is of paramount importance.
Odisha has been one of my favorite states. It is one of the fastest growing states in India in terms of economy. But if you look at the growth, they have complemented that with community initiatives, they've complemented that with empowering communities and making sure that their tribal communities, their grassroots organizations are at the forefront of climate action, at the forefront of the development story that they want to speak to. And given the extreme natural coastal line that they have, the kind of action that is seen on ground despite all of these efforts, the government's efforts, the efforts of the community in making sure that community resilience is still an important factor when it comes to dealing with this crisis, when it comes to dealing with climate action.
We see that the whole idea is about placing climate change into a local narrative, understanding it from the bottom up. This whole idea of sandboxing is basically to compose these ecosystem actors into a frame where they can see that how they can collaborate and converge in their action. I think both knowledge and network needs to come together. A knowledge which is existing within the local systems, also a knowledge which is coming from the latest science, and both needs to kind of embed together.
One thing we gave emphasis on Jana Gyana Sampada, which is often ignored by the mainstream scientists, mainstream institutions. So when we started there, I'm talking about early 90s, so we started exploring the people's knowledge that was being existing and also vanishing at very fast rate. In 2004 tsunami, the coastlines which were affected by the big tsunami, not a single Nicobarese died who did not have any modern gadget at all, no information at all. Because They had the intergenerational knowledge about the behavior of the sea. We cannot have more resilient societies if we completely ignore that kind of intergenerational knowledge that we inherited sometimes back.
When we're talking about climate change is the biggest challenge in front of all of us today, it goes without being said that everybody has to come together to combat. It has to be collective action. Everybody has a role. If we all come together and amplify the messaging around climate change, then I'm sure it would have a compound effect after some time. And our idea was first to make the language in which we report climate change very, very simple. So we need to make the language very simple, connected to the hyperlocal issues that they are facing, which is a result of climate change. If a media house wants and if it is committed, I think it can be a great bridge between the problem and the solution.
Right? At your home, do you have a choice of solving only finance or solving only education or solving only health? I don't think you have a choice of doing that at home. And these are our homes, right? And our ability to observe our places, understand our places, developed on the ground, right? Right. So when you think of place, I don't think the question of ecosystem is a choice or a good to have feature. I don't think there's any way out of it. And following that, I don't think collaboration is something we chose. We actually need to actively get back to it, which is where there is a harder push needed to bring people together, get them to see each other's role in part of a larger ecosystem.
So I feel that you need to solve for the cause as well, make the cause visible. At the same time, solve for trust, convenience and security. Trust comes in when you're working for the same cause. The second thing is convenience, and that's where the organization could play a role in making collaboration convenient enough. And the third is the security, and that's where the philanthropic resources come in, wherein there has to be money on the table or resources on the table to make sure that collaboration happens.
आजिका समय समस्ते गोटे प्रकार कथा कहते कि क्लाइमेट चेंज होची क्लाइमेट गछ काटी दिया जाउची जहा फल अम्लजान नबारे आमको असुविधा होची गरम जोर होची वर्षार अनियमितता भावे वर्षा होची जहा फल आम ठीक समय चाष करि पारु नाहंती आमको बहुत प्रकार असुविधा होची किंतु सेही असुविधाटा आमे करूछंती बोली आम ध्यान रे नाही।
तो आप क्या सोचती हैं आपकी तरफ से जो स्ट्रैटेजीज होनी चाहिए हमारे पॉलिसी मेकर्स का या जो संस्थाएं उनके साथ काम करनी चाहिए?
हमारी जो सारी क्लाइमेट रिलेटेड संस्थाएं ना वो सरकार की भी रिएक्टिव है। हर मॉनसून के सीजन में हम लोगों ने अभी ये शुरू किया है सरकार के साथ कि ये जो हमारी क्लाइमेट चैंपियंस हैं वो और सरकार और वो हर वार्ड में से हम लेते हैं। गुजरात में एक एग्जांपल है कि कॉर्पोरेशन का अपना एक फ्लड कंट्रोल रूम, तो वो इन बहनों के साथ प्लानिंग नहीं करता था पहले, अब वो बैठ के मॉनसून एक्शन प्लान बनाता है।
When we come to the conclusion, I would like to first start with Dr. Benjamin, who didn't only spoke about the impact which we are going to say, but we all are into commercial world, we all are corporates, and it's going to cost us 100 trillion. I mean, that's 4 to 5 Apple. Mr. Sisodia spoke about the collaborations and the ecosystem. Unless we have a collaboration with the ecosystem, we may not able to coexist. And so, as we come to the concluding ceremony of this event, I think we are starting to more on the ground that what our Ideate 24 says, that it's not only the talk, but it's also the action.